ready, Grenada? The Maggie King of the Grill is back and bigger than ever. On Saturday, June 7th, Monroe's playing field transforms into the ultimate battleground for grill masters. Think you got what it takes? Then fire up those grills and show your skills. Registration closes Friday, April the 11th, so don't miss your chance to compete for that sizzling prize and bragging rights. It's food, fun, and flavor, all powered by Maggie. To register, call 407-8458. Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules. See you there.
Hey GBN family, we've got a brand new home on Facebook and you need to be there. Follow us now on Facebook at Grenada Broadcasting Network -GBN. Stay updated with the latest news, sports, entertainment, and everything Grenada. Don't miss out. Like, follow, and share. Grenada Broadcasting Network. Stay informed, stay ahead. First with the news, fast with the updates.
Like a freestyle, the lifeblood flowing mile by mile. It's legacy, a beat that don't stop like Bob Marley said. One love on top, BCUH water out of sight, but it's always wrong, don't lose the light.
Whatever your problems, you're not alone. No one said.
I'm so happy to be with you this morning. Yet another day, thankful for life. It's 26 minutes on to 7 o'clock on this overcast Thursday morning.
You're not alone.
Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're doing, you're not alone this morning, right? Remember that. And I do beg your indulgence for my nasal sound this morning. I'm coming down with the flu. I don't know why. Nonetheless, I'm alive and thankful. And despite that, I do know that it's a good day to have a good day in a good way. Pastor Newton, good morning. I love this edition. A good day to have a good day in a good way. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a wonderful day. Mildred Smith, good morning. How are you this morning? You and Shem, Zamora and Judy. Agnes Dowden, good morning. Veronica Sandy, destined to win overcomer, good morning. Yulin Alexander, Jillian McIntyre, Cicely Blackman, Michelle Daniel is with us, Yulin Swan, Catherine Phillip, Monica Mayrose Williams, good morning. Rico Andrew, Sylvina Charles, good morning, Lovey. How you doing? You all right? Erlyn, good morning to you in the U.S. All those of you locked on in the U.S. of A. Do hope that I get a ride in the $400 million plane, right? Oh my goodness. Grenada, good morning. Good morning to the wonderful folks in Corinth and St. David. The House and Scheme Project, good morning. Good morning to my friend, the Taylor, from the Taylor family. Know how it was for you on Mother's Day, right? Yeah. Malty, good morning. Content, Coles Gap, Lassa Jess, Thebaid, Belial. No matter what, you're not alone. Hence the reason why I keep going, you know. The pressures of life are real. Yeah. Sometimes I myself wonder, how do I smile? But nonetheless, Verda Roberts, good morning. Yeah. It's a good day to have a good day in a good way. Good morning, Reverend Samuel Caesar. Now now in the southern Grenadines, but still good morning to the folks in East Flatbush, New York. Yep.
Stand up, start again.
And I've got this quote from my good friend, Apostle, can't remember his name. Thank you for the gift and beauty of a brand new day. Thank you for loving and accepting us, even when we don't love ourselves. This is a day you have made, and we will be glad and rejoice in it. Today we ask your protection to keep us out of harm's way. May our words and actions be a reflection of you in all we do and say. We are so grateful for the precious love you have bestowed upon us and give you all the glory and praise. What else? In Jesus' name, amen. Yep. Happy Thursday. Here is a scripture to hold on to throughout today. So do not fear not. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And that's coming from Isaiah 41:10. You're not alone. Always remember that. It's a good day to have a good day. Yeah, let's dance. I know a number of people who are dancing this morning.
Holy Spirit.
Salisbury Road, good morning. 21 minutes on to the 7 o'clock hour. Good morning, Janelle, Dick, and family. The management and staff of the GBN, good morning. How do you do? Joanne Brathwaite Batson. Good morning, Mr. Joseph, dedicated listeners and viewers. Greetings to you all from Pompano Beach, Florida. Wow. The Sunshine State. Sylvina says I must take my vitamins. Yeah, I've got to get that. But I've got to be so careful, you know. I was taking some the last time and I realized my blood pressure was getting extremely high, only to realize that one of the ingredients was ginseng, and it was sending my blood pressure skyrocketing, man. So I've got to be careful. In any case, let's get to the word of the day, and that word today is aesthetic. Aesthetic. It is spelled Aesthetic. Aesthetic. And it means concerned with beauty or the appreciation of it. Concerned with beauty or the appreciation of it. Here's how we can use it in a sentence. The painting's aesthetic appeal left the viewers mesmerized. Hope you're writing down the words, and I hope I'm not wasting my time and going through this. It's a learning curve for me as well. So let's learn together. My wonderful folks inside of Mount Nesbitt. Good morning, good morning. How are you doing this morning? Nadisha, good morning. The motivational tip of the day is up next. Miss G, good morning. Holmesy, Abigail. Hope you all are doing fine. Yeah.
So let wisdom be the
Sing. Set daily intentions. Choose one thing you aim to accomplish today and focus on it. Small wins lead to big progress. Choose one thing you aim to accomplish today and focus on it. Small wins lead to big progress. Yeah, baby steps we call that. You heard Miss Lazarus and I talk about baby steps yesterday with your savings.
We are living in serious times.
Don't forget to get your financial disaster kit ready, because the Atlantic hurricane season is right upon us. Yeah, when you look at the weather pattern, man, things have really changed. Climate change is real, folks. Buzzing this morning, Caribbean sargassum levels soar by 200% in April 2025, says the NOAA. Grenada Coalition of Service Industries acknowledges recent achievements of two local service industry stalwarts. In the region, trouble looming in the Bahamas between the government and medical consultants. Internationally, toddler separated from mother has been deported from the U.S. She returned back to Venezuela. Cricket West Indies announces the women's squad for England tour. So we've got these and so many more coming up in our AM edition of News, Sports and the Weather. Good morning to you, Indra Marast. How are you doing, Indra? Hope you're doing fine.
My God is.
Nice. And I'm getting some medical advice here. Good morning. Take vitamins effervescent to dissolve one in a glass of water. You will feel better for sure. All right. I'll look for that. Thank you. Yep. Natalia Ross, good morning. Lauren Salim, good morning to you and Joan and the entire family. Hermitage, good morning. Folks, the AM edition of News, Sports and the Weather comes up right after these messages. Don't you go anywhere.
Mobility, a common theme woven into the very fabric of human history. From ancient wanderers to modern explorers, our instinct to move, to seek something greater, and to grow has always driven us forward. Imagine a journey into pathways of boundless opportunities and endless possibilities. A collective future where the vibrant rhythms of the Caribbean, rich culture, and welcoming community create unforgettable experiences. Beyond citizenship by investment, we believe in our collective investment of time, resources, and energy that fosters innovation, creates jobs, and enriches lives, driving the growth of an entire nation. The Investment Migration Agency Grenada boasts over a decade of exceptional service and remains committed to guiding you toward global mobility and economic freedom through investment. Your journey becomes our shared story of progress and prosperity. This is an invitation to be part of something greater, something enduring. Begin your journey at imagrenada.gd. I am a Grenada. Unlock the possibilities.
GBN presents the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, Saturday, June 7th, Mon Rouge Plainfield from 11 a.m. Our partners, Maggie, the secret of great flavor, Grenada Distillers Limited, makers of Clark's Court, Grenada's #1 rum, Grenada Paper Products, makers of Cherish, Spring Soft, Harbour Bay, and Super Value Toilet Paper, and Royal, Quick and Easy, and Horizon Paper Towels, Budget Foods Inc., Classic Lighting, and Blue Bubbles PA Rental and Event Supplies. It's the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules.
ACB's me, start, manage, expand. Don't call me small. I'm dreaming big. I'm gonna have it all. ACB's me, start, manage, expand. They came on all my competition, got the whole bag's attention. ACB, best financial solution. My business has a good reputation. Ready for success? Call us at 444-4919 or visit us at acbonline.com to learn more. Start, manage.
This is the GBN Morning News for today, Thursday, May 15th, 2025. Coming up in the news, Caribbean sargassum levels soar by 200% in April, says the NOAA. Grenada Coalition of Service Industries acknowledges recent achievements of two local service industry stalwarts. In the region, trouble looming in the Bahamas between the government and medical consultants, and internationally, toddler separated from mother, deported from the U.S., returned to Venezuela. In sports, Cricket West Indies announces the women's squad for the England tour. We've got these and more after these messages.
served Grenada for decades. We are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada and St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
Good morning. With the details, I am Gordon Joseph. Today is the last day of exams for students preparing to move on to secondary schools. On Wednesday, they completed the first of 2 days of the final component of the Caribbean primary exit assessment, the CPEA. 1,804 students are registered to sit the 2025 CPEA from 73 primary schools across Grenada. Of that number, 883 are males and 921 females. 97 more students are registered this year in comparison to 2024 number, which was 1,707, comprising of 845 males and 862 females. 3 students are being provided with translators, as English is not their primary language. There is also one student from the School for Special Education, 2 hearing impaired students, and 3 visually impaired students sitting the CPEA. Students from 42 schools are writing the CPEA exams online, as 22 new online centers have been added this year. The in-person assessment is being conducted at 54 centers throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petimatnik from 9 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. each day. CPEA is open to all students who are 11 years of age on or before September 1st, 2025. It consists of 4 multiple choice papers in mathematics, English language arts, science, and social studies, with 50 items in each subject area. Students are allocated 75 minutes for each paper. As students prepare for day 2, they are reminded that no mobile telephones and other electronic devices will be allowed at the examination centers. Electronic calculators are also forbidden. Candidates are also reminded to bring along HB, 3B, or 2B pencils to answer multiple choice questions. A special appeal is being made to the public to minimize noise and other distractions around schools during the period 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Grenada Coalition of Services Industries, the GCSI, has congratulated international soca artist and songwriter Mr. Javon Von John and health and wellness and beauty expert Ms. Rosemary Charles. Last month, Vaughn was named Caribbean and one of only 15 persons globally to be named as World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO's News IP Youth Ambassador. For her part, Ms. Charles's organization, Rosemary's International Wellness Institute, is the first Grenadian entity to gain full international accreditation in the field of health and wellness, securing partnerships with international regulatory bodies and industry giants such as BGI UK, InSync, Westminster Insurance, Policy B, and Towergate. According to Jude Bernard, chairman of the GCSI, these achievements underscore the relentless pursuit of excellence on the part of both Mr. John and Miss Charles in the practice of their respective crafts, thus gaining international credibility and recognition for the vital local service sector. The Grenadian Coalition of Service Industries is an umbrella organization under the auspices of the Ministry of Trade with the mandate to identify, organize, and develop local producers of potentially exportable services and guiding them to a state of export readiness so they can contribute more significantly to employment creation, foreign exchange generation, and national economic development. A report by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the NOAA, has shown an alarming increase in sargassum seaweed in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico by 200%, surpassing the all-time high reported in June 2022. In an update on Tuesday, the NOAA said, based on the report, more sargassum is expected to be transported to the West Caribbean Sea and then to the Gulf through the Yucatan. The increase in the Gulf of Mexico and Western Caribbean Sea were typical as in most previous years, but total amounts in the Eastern Caribbean Sea and West Atlantic reached surprisingly high levels. They were both 200% higher than the historical records in April. Similarly, the total amount in all regions combined was 150% higher than the historical record in April. Furthermore, this total amount was 40% higher than the all-time high in June 2022, which makes 2025 a new record year. Most of these increases are due to both local growth and physical transport, but the exact reasons behind these new historical records need to be investigated. Corresponding to these increases, sargassum beaching events have been reported around the Caribbean and along the southeast coast of Florida. The NOAA said May is expected to see continued increases in most regions. The organization said sargassum inundation will continue to occur in most of the Caribbean nations and islands, as well as along the southeast coast of Florida. That ends the first segment of news. The local segment, the regional and international developments, along with the sports and the weather, they are straight ahead. Trouble is looming in the Bahamas between the government and the medical consultants. This and more in this OCM News report.
In Trinidad and Tobago, a former deputy chairman of the Police Service Commission is describing the situation regarding the police commissioner as a scandalous outrage. Martin George says the delay by the PSC in issuing the letter lifting the suspension of Earl Haywood Christopher should be condemned. Earlier this week, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Roger Gaspard, SC, said there was not enough evidence to charge Mrs. Haywood Christopher, clearing the way for the court matter against her to be dismissed. Today is Mrs. Haywood Christopher's final day in office, but she is yet to receive the document. Mr. George says the letter should have been issued the moment the matter was dismissed by the courts.
This is nothing more than a scandalous outrage because there appears to be no good reason why the Police Service Commission has not taken that step yet. If you would have had sight or knowledge of the release from the DPP and based upon your own internal investigations, and if you have no reason for continuing the suspension from duty, then it appears to be on the part of the Commission a dereliction of duty for them to not have issued such a letter in a very prompt and timely manner.
Mr. George wants the PSC to explain the delays. Industrial trouble is looming in the Bahamas between the government and medical consultants. The Consultants Physicians Staff Association says its members are at a breaking point with stalled negotiations. Union President Cheryl Lockhart says after months of waiting, the frustration is growing. She says members of the association pulled their services over an outstanding industrial agreement 4 months ago. The Union of Senior Doctors says it remains in limbo without a signed industrial agreement or even a proposal. Dr. Lockhart yesterday told reporters in a March 28th meeting, Labour and the Public Service Minister Pia Glover Roll promised a proposal in the month of April.
Well, we were fooled because obviously we did not get a new proposal at that time. I didn't necessarily expect it because it was completely out of Minister Glover Roll's hands. She is trying to assist us with, getting this pushed through. The government says that they have been explicit in what they want to propose to us, and the Public Hospitals Authority is saying they have not gotten the green light to send us the proposal. But the proposal that was sent, that we ended up rejecting, the government says that they had no dealings with that. That's not what the discussion was.
The CPSA said it has been dealing with the issue since 2022. Dr. Lockhart said there is a last resort in hand to get the government to act.
It seems as though the government only understands industrial unrest. They don't understand the kind of calm, let's have a conversation, let's negotiate in good faith. They don't seem to understand that. We are still holding our strike certificate. That is our absolute last resort. And at this particular point in time, if that's what my membership says that we need to do, I'm not going to be the one to discourage that.
Among its demands, the group is pushing for two.
Looking further afield, a Venezuelan toddler who was separated from her parents after they crossed the United States-Mexico border together has been returned to Venezuela, to where her mother was deported in April. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro thanked the administration of United States President Donald Trump for the return on Wednesday of 2-year-old Michaels Espinosa Bernal to her mother Yorli Bernal. Both the toddler's parents were accused by the Trump administration of involvement in the Tren de Aragua gang, a claim for which the government has offered no evidence and is firmly denied by family members. The child's father, 25-year-old Micah Espinosa, was among at least 137 Venezuelans sent to a prison in El Salvador in March. State-owned airline Qatar Airways has signed an agreement to buy 210 aircraft from United States manufacturer Boeing, coinciding with President Donald Trump's visit to Qatar as part of his tour of the Gulf region. Trump and Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani witnessed the signing ceremony in Doha on Wednesday. The White House said that the deal for the Boeing 777X and 787 planes with GE Aerospace engines was worth $96 billion. And finally, Mali's military government has dissolved all political parties after accusations from rights groups that opposition figures have been arrested. Assimi Goïta, who seized power in 2 army coups in 2020 and 2021, validated the decision after it was broadcast to Malians in a televised statement on Tuesday. The parties were disbanded after demonstrations this month demanding the country return to democratic rule. Protesters gathered on May 3rd and 4th carrying placards with slogans reading, "Down with dictatorship, long live democracy," in a rare public rebuke of the military government which had promised to hold elections in 2022. That's the regional and international news. The sporting highlights are straight ahead. Good morning, sporting fans. Cricket West Indies, that's CWI, yesterday announced a 15-member squad for the upcoming White Ball Tour of England, taking place from the 21st of May to the 8th of June. The tour includes 3 T20 internationals and 3 one-day internationals to be played at several venues across the country. The squad will be led by Captain Haley Matthews and includes a strong mix of experienced players and emerging talent eager to represent the region well and move on from the participation in the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup qualifiers in Pakistan last month. There are 2 changes to the squad who contested the World Cup qualifiers, with 20-year-old Guyanese all-rounder Rialina Grimond and Kititian fast bowler Jazara Claxton replacing Jamaican's wicketkeeper batter Rashada Williams and all-rounder Chanel Henry, respectively. The squad reads Haley Matthews as captain, Shermaine Campbell as vice-captain, Aliyah Aline, Jazara Claxton, Afi Fletcher, Sherry-Ann Fraser, Shekbika Gajnabi, Janelia Glasgow, Rosalina Grimond, Zaida James, Kiana Joseph, Mandy Mangru, Ashmini Munisar, Krishma Ramarak, Stephanie Taylor. The team management would be head coach Shane Dietz, team manager Sheena Gooding, assistant coach Ryan Austin, assistant coach Damian Wright, team analyst Gary Bell, physiotherapist Angelica Holder, strength and conditioning coach Hector Martinez Charles, performance coach Dr. Nadine Sami, media and content officer Nicholas Maitland. The West Indies women departed for England on May 13, with the first T20 schedule for the 21st of May. That's the sports at this time. We'll have more sports in a luncheon edition. The weather is up next.
My name is Leah Rose Charles, and my most recent accomplishment was winning the Victus Ladurum at the next UT St. George's Branch Primary School Games. And I am participating in the Classic Lighting Community Invitational on May 17th and 18th at the Karani James Athletic Stadium, representing South St. George Government School. I am inviting you to come out and support greatness and action in...
And folks, for the latest weather forecast, we join forecaster Jonathan Price at the Met Office of the MBIA. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning to you and good morning, listeners. Here is the weather for today, Thursday the 15th of May 2025, as recorded at the Mount Bishop International Airport. It is currently partly cloudy and hazy, with showers in the vicinity. Winds are coming from the east at 15 miles per hour. Barometric pressure is 1013.1 millibars, which is below normal and falling. Present temperature is 28.4 degrees Celsius and relative humidity 80%. Yesterday's maximum was 31.3 degrees Celsius and the minimum last night 26.5 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, 2.3 millimeters of rainfall was recorded, which brings the total for the month so far to 38.6 millimeters. And now for the public forecast for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique Valley for today and tonight. The weather is expected to be partly cloudy and hazy, with light to moderate showers. Today's max will be 30.5 degrees Celsius, with winds east-northeasterly to east-southeasterly at 14 to 24 miles per hour. Seas will be moderate to rough, with waves 6 to 8 feet in easterly swells, hence a marine advisory is in effect. Low tide will be at 11:30 a.m. and high tide at 5:30 p.m. Sunset will be at 6:24 and sunrise at 5:42. Just to repeat the public forecast, valid for today and tonight, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy and hazy with light to moderate showers. From the forecast at Mount Bishop International Airport, I'm Jonathan Price. Have a great day.
Jonathan, just before you run off, usually when the weather is like that, the conditions are like that, we, the ordinary people, usually say the weather is inclement. So how lengthy would that inclement weather be with us today?
Well, the when you say the weather is inclement, it's more so we expecting a few showers here and there, but not as bad as before. And the haze is the main inclement feature at the moment. There was initially a mid to upper level drop that was affecting the islands yesterday and day before, but that was mainly to the islands to the north of us. So it wouldn't technically be inclement at this time, but just the typical showers you would expect at this transition phase of the season, because we're moving into the rainy season at the moment.
Okay. Thank you very much, bro. Have a good one.
You too.
Folks, the weather forecast came to you with the kind compliments of Rennick and Thompson Company Limited.
Meet Mom. She's not just the wake up at the crack of dawn, make breakfast and pack bags kind of mom. She also gets her fitness game on. Yeah, she's the don't let anyone forget anything kind of mom. At the same time, she's the runs her own business, clothes, and deals kind of mom, who finds time to get down and boogie with the kids after school, remodel the house, bake cake, host dinner, and even play her favorite game at the end of the day kind of mom. So let's celebrate Mom, because to us, she's so much more.
It's 8 minutes after 7 o'clock to end the news recap of the headlines. Caribbean sargassum levels soar by 200% in April 2025, so says the National Oceanic Agency. The GCSI acknowledges recent achievements of two local service industry stalwarts. In the region, trouble looming in the Bahamas between the government and medical consultants. Internationally, toddler separated from mother, deported from the U.S., returned to Venezuela. And in cricket and sports, Cricket West Indies announces the women's squad for the England tour. That has been the morning edition of news for today, Thursday, the 15th of May, 2025. On behalf of the entire news department, I'm Gordon Joseph, thanking you for listening and viewing, wishing you a productive day. Stay healthy, take your vitamins, and stick with us, because we're with you anywhere and everywhere.
Hello, my name is Ethan Sam. I am your two-time character medalist, and I'll be participating at the Classic Lightning Communal Invitational, May 17 and 18 at the Crayon James National Stadium. See you there.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm committed to us?
She made me feel some measure of warmth, maybe even passion. If I decide to do this, I'll be doing it for you, no one else.
Labukan presents Rivals, playing at Labukan Creative Center, GCNA Complex, all weekends in May, Saturdays 8 p.m., Sundays 6 p.m., and Deluxe Cinema Grenville, Saturday, June 7, 8 p.m. Tickets from Grenadian Optical, Labukan, St. Andrews Pharmacy, and Go to Fit at $75. Sponsors Bryden & Miners Limited, Knights Auto, Sandals, GBN, Republic Bank, Trios Auto, Co-op Bank, and Huggins. It's Rivals by Francis Uriah Peters. Don't you miss it.
You better come back, boy. You better come back.
ACB, SME, start, manage, expand. Don't call me small. I'm dreaming big. I'm gonna have it all. ACB, SME, start, manage, expand. Taking on all my competition. Got the whole bank's attention. ACB, best financial solution. My business has a good reputation.
Ready for success? Call us at 444-4919 or visit us at acbonline.com to learn more. Start, manage, expand your business today.
Grenada is indeed beautiful and worth exploring. We firmly believe that you should be allowed to do so. Why not explore Grenada with James Services Corp Off-Road Tours? Whether you decide to explore Grenada with your family, spouse, or large group of friends, we are ready to welcome you. Our tours are guaranteed to leave you with wonderful memories of Grenada if you are visiting, and excitement if you live here. Book a tour with us now by visiting our website www.jamessvcs.com. Call 1473-442-3769 or email info@jamessvcs.com. James Services Corp. Off-Road Tours.
I am Dennis James Williams, owner and director of James Services Corp. Looking forward to welcoming you to the beautiful island of Union to explore with James Services Corp. Off-Road Tours. See you soon.
Explore our beautiful island of Grenada from an angle that is unique and off-road, but equally fun. We are 100% family-friendly tours.
Attention all divers, snorkelers, and underwater enthusiasts. Effective May 15th, 2025, all visitors to the renowned Mullinair Underwater Sculpture Park will be required to pay a small fee of US $3.50 or EC $10 per person. These fees are essential to support the ongoing maintenance and repairs of the sculptures, as well as the development of new features to ensure the park remains a world-class attraction. Payment can be made through the Grenada Tourism Authority's online payment portal, available on the Pure Grenada website, www.puregrenada.com. We thank you for your support in enhancing this extraordinary underwater product. This announcement is brought to you by the Grenada Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, dedicated to protecting and conserving Grenada's resources for the enjoyment of all.
GBN presents the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, Saturday, June 7th, Mun Rouge Plainfield from 11 a.m. Our partners, Maggie, the secret of great flavor, Grenada Distillers Limited, makers of Clark's Court, Grenada's #1 rum, Grenada Paper Products, makers of Cherish, Spring Soft, Harbour Bay, and Super Value Toilet Paper, and Royal, Quick and Easy, and Horizon Paper Towels, Budget Foods Inc., Classic Lighting, and Blue Bubbles PA Rental and Event Supplies. It's the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules.
Whether you're refreshing a bedroom or giving your home a bold new look, the Color Shop has the perfect paint and tools to make it happen, inside and out. With quality finishes for every surface and accessories to match, we make painting easy from start to finish. Whether it's a DIY weekend or a contractor starting a brand new project, the Color Shop is the trusted choice.
If you are 50 years and over or turning 50 in 2024, our 50-plus car insurance is perfect for you. It's loaded with free benefits like loss of use, special perils, and windscreen cover up to $2,500. Getting to 50 is filled with ups and downs. Let's celebrate these moments together and look forward to 50 more. Call Beacon Insurance at 440-4447 or log on to beacongrenada.com to get a free quote today. Special conditions apply.
A good Thursday morning to you. It's 15 minutes after 7 o'clock. Welcome to the conversation. And this morning I am joined by a serious, humorous gentleman. You look at him, his face, you see he's a serious man. If you know him, you know he's a serious man. But he's got the humorous side. Mr. Alan Biesinski, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
How are you this morning?
Very well. It's a pleasure to be here.
As a retiree, getting up this early, is it a difficult thing for you?
Not at all. I have to get up early regularly to go and walk.
Okay.
I have to keep my fine figure.
That's nice. I like how you put it. Now, Mr. Biesinski this morning is representing Heritage Theatre. And as you know, they've got Breaking Out coming up the end of May and the first weekend in June. End of May is at the Grenada Trade Center. And the 31st of May and 1st of June at the Deluxe Cinema Grenville.
Correct.
Yeah. Before we get into this, a man with such a serious nature, how did you get into theatre?
I was asked by my friend Chris Duriggs to play a character once. And he was, I guess, satisfied enough that he continued to involve me in subsequent productions. As a stage manager, as a production assistant, a jack of all trades, I guess. And it's been entertaining, I think I can say.
So for you, that transformation in personality, because people who know you, like as you enter the studio here, I said, this serious man. People who know you knows that you're a serious, astute businessman. All right? But then how do you make that transformation into that sort of comical, theatrical sort of...
Well, it's, I think, how Robert White and Chris Diriggs will explain it. It's once you are in character, you try as far as possible to explore the different facets of the character, and each time you do a performance, it comes out just a little bit different, and it develops. And so this play, this Breaking Out, was actually written some 8 or 9 years ago. It's been performed before, but with different actors each time, and changes happen. After all, it is looking at a time in history, and we look back in history and we have different perspectives. And so each time the performance comes out, there's a little something. And for people who might have seen it before, I encourage everybody come and see it again, because there'll be something new.
Yeah, because time has elapsed and things have changed. I'm still. That's my final question on you. How? I want to get the correct question. For you, what has getting involved in theater done for you as an individual?
Oh, I think it's kept my mind busy.
Okay.
A very worthwhile experience.
Okay. And do you think that live theater is on the rise in Grenada, or is it on the decline? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that there are indications that a lot more people are interested in it. Younger people, thankfully, grasping the opportunity to come forward and explore their potential, because the reality is that even Robert is getting old. Well, he wouldn't admit it. He wouldn't admit it.
Yesterday evening we were together, and he's of the opinion that he is still a spring chicken.
Yeah, well, his time is coming to the end of spring, I think. Of course, I have to see him later, so he'll take me up on that.
Okay.
But I will only tell him that it's coming.
Yeah, he'll reach there eventually. yes, all right. So, tell us, Breaking Out, give us your synopsis of Breaking Out.
Breaking Out is set in a period of disruption, hence Breaking Out. And I'm not going to give too much away, but it takes place just after Ivan hit Grenada. Those of us of a certain age remember what happened. And those who are not of a certain age, they will get some insights. One of the beauties about theater is that we are able to present at one particular time in history, and then we do flashbacks as well. And this is where you see the power of the playwright coming through. Of course, it does require that the audience participates, in the sense that there's a famous saying, there needs to be a temporary suspension of disbelief.
Okay.
So that you come with an open mind and you enjoy what's happening on stage. You get into a relationship with the characters.
So in essence, you, as an individual, as a member of the audience, you let your mind go to that time that is being acted out.
Yes, and the beauty of it is that for those who were there at the time and remember, it brings back memories. For the younger people, they get an insight into the history of our country, and that is particularly important. That is what theater can bring out.
Okay. Do you think it's a good thing for... I'm happy you said it, that you're seeing younger people are getting a little more interested in theater. Do you think it's a good thing for young people to pursue that as a career?
Yes, you have to start somewhere. And the opportunities are not extensive at the current time. For years, there have been people in the theater business who've been asking, why can't there be a national center for the performing arts? You've heard Ricky Keens Douglas, you've heard Uriah Peters, you've heard Chris DeRiggs, and there are other people, because it's not just the theater, it's the performing arts in general. And so, if there's anybody listening who can make a difference, please press for that.
Good. And someone getting involved in theater and the performing arts by extension, from a Grenada and a regional perspective, how meaningful could that be in terms of accomplishments financially and otherwise?
I'm not so sure about the financial aspect of it, because the reality is that the environment is changing. There's so much more taking place online. And everybody is a producer these days with TikTok and whatever else it is. I mean, you see them all over the place. And they get likes, they get views.
They do it for the likes.
And well, I mean, we are not here to judge. Yeah. But let us say there is nothing like a live performance.
Right.
And the live performance only costs $60.
Yeah, that's
2 weekends, 4 big shows, 2 in St. George's, 2 in Grenville.
Yeah, $60. That's a giveaway. You know, it's amazing that you would say that, because only yesterday I was saying people don't go to cinemas anymore.
Yes. Well, we will be going to the Deluxe Cinema on the 31st of May and the 1st of June.
All right. Working along with Chris DeRiggs, as you say, he asked you to get involved in a particular position, and eventually you gravitated even deeper into the theater. What's it like working with Chris?
I think it is an educational experience, because he has a breadth of knowledge, and he's been in this along with Heritage Theatre for many years. They have traveled. They have seen what it is to get exposure. And as a result, there's a professionalism, there's an understanding of how you motivate your actors, how you get them to develop a character. And so it's been eye-opening for me, actually.
Okay. And you're enjoying what you're doing?
Absolutely.
If we could have turned back the hands of time, would you have gotten involved in theater earlier in your life?
Well, let's put it this way. I was involved in the theater all my life. Every day you get up, you put on your face.
Your life stage.
You put on your face.
I can see the theater working. I can see it's working for you. Okay, so, for the listening and viewing audience, just remind them of the events.
So, Breaking Out is a full-length romantic drama. It's 2 weekends, 4 big shows. Grenada Trade Center, 24th and 25th of May. That is next week, Saturday and Sunday. And the following weekend at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. Tickets are available from Gittins Health and Wellness in Wall Street, Mitchell's Pharmacy, Grand Dance, Art and Soul Bookstore, Spiceland Mall, 3B's, as usual, downtown St. George's, St. Andrew's Pharmacy, and Go to Fet.
Okay. And the cost?
$60. And it will be 2 hours or so well spent for your $60.
And I know that you, Chris and his team, you all have a passion for time.
Absolutely.
7 o'clock is 7 o'clock.
7 p.m. show time.
Yes. Someone is trying to get in, maybe to ask a question. Let's do this. Good morning, caller. We seem to have lost that caller there, but someone is trying to maybe find out how they can get a ticket or something like that. Okay, so folks, you heard it. Let's entertain this caller here. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
A pleasant good morning. I'm wondering if films, as was done in America, and I think it's still done, be made of these plays, and after time, but I mean, I'm not sure we have theater now. These things can be maybe shown on television or something like that, so that this would inspire the younger people to get into theater acting.
Okay. I guess he wants it recorded and aired subsequently.
Yes, that has always been a call, particularly from Grenadians who are overseas. And there was a previous production, Fedor, where this was recorded and available for a time on pay-per-view. But if you go on the Heritage Theatre social media platforms, I'm certain there's more information available there.
Okay. Let's accommodate this final call. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Joseph.
Welcome.
Greetings, how are you?
Alive and thankful.
Listen, there's nothing new about theater talent Bezinski. Ever heard the word cunning? That cunning personality. 1962, Dick Whittington on the stages of the Wesley School, Wesley Hall School on Lucas Street. I remember those good old days. Long live the memory of Winnie Mae Granger.
Yes, citizen. And we went to Wesley Hall School together, and to tell you the truth, I don't remember the date.
I see them just as they were. So, theater, in other words, is nothing new talent. As he said, he puts on his face every day. Yes, he's always been. You should have made it to the big stage in Hollywood. How you call out again? Hollywood or Hollywood or...
No, I am aware of my limitations, and I'll work
Thanks for your contribution anyway, Alan. God's blessings.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You got the blessings and endorsement of a great man. So, run with this.
I will.
Okay, so as we wrap, anything you thought we left out that you'd like to add before?
No, I think we covered quite a bit of ground, and I'm sorry I couldn't reveal what the play is about, but that's the whole point.
One quick question. Maybe if you can identify quickly some of the personalities who will be acting.
Oh yes. Well, Robert White, of course,
the star,
and he will be exchanging the spotlight with Lisa Grappi. We have Kareem Alexis. We have Halim, who is one of our stalwarts. We have Wayne Bob, who will be making a cameo appearance. And we've got Rose Bagwan and Rene de Riggs. He will be coming out for the first time. And so we have a blend of youth and experience.
That is what you call an all-star cast.
Well, we will wait for the verdict of the audience.
All right. Good. Well, thank you very much, sir, and for representing Heritage Theatre. Of course, I urge you folks to go out and get your tickets. The tickets are selling, and there is a capacity limit, so you know who the early bird gets the seat.
So 4 big shows. 2 at the Trade Center, the Saturday and Sunday. Following weekend, we're in Grenville at the Deluxe Cinema, Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bezinski, and all the best. I know it will be a sellout show, and I look forward to more great productions from Heritage Theatre. Folks, we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got more on the conversation.
Heritage Theatre presents Breaking Out, the Grenada Love Story, featuring Robert White and Lisa Grappi, written and directed by Chris DeRiggs.
But I still love you, Richie.
You love me and you're hard in me. 4 big performances, Saturday 24th and Sunday 25th May at the Grenada Trade Center, Saturday 31st May and Sunday 1st June at Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. Showtime 7 p.m. sharp.
He's the love of my life, Auntie. You have to marry a man for other things besides love, child.
Get your tickets at Mitchell's Pharmacy in Grand Anse, Gittins Health and Wellness, Wall Street, Gabriel's Pharmacy, Pedmata, St. David Pharmacy, St. Andrew Pharmacy, Pharmacy, Art and Soul Boutique at Spiceland Mall, 3B's Shoe Store, and GoToFed.com. Breaking out. Come out and enjoy Grenadian theater at its best.
This ad complements Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited.
No, girl, that was yesterday. I can't believe all they said that. She didn't.
Mom, can you help me, please? I'm having some trouble understanding.
No, you serious?
Mom, can you help me, please?
So y'all sit down and say that? Okay then, bye. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's ensure that you're well prepared for this exam.
Parents, you have a crucial role to play in helping to prepare your children for the CPEA exams. Help them or seek additional help so that they can revise the concepts they learn at school and give them a better chance to be successful and move on to the next phase of their lives. A message from the National Parenting Program, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs.
Looking to shop online from your favorite stores like Amazon and Shein with
Welcome back, viewers and listeners, to the conversation. If you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And joined this morning at this time by Miss Jeremiah, and she's representing Jay's HR Consultancy, and she's got some great information for us that I hope you listen to attentively. Now, before we start, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning to everyone listening. Good morning to you, Gordon.
All right. Wow, she knows my right name. Not many people do. Many people say innocent.
Oh, okay.
There's this one that usually say not so innocent, but that's okay.
And that is part of it.
That's all part of the cookie. So tell us, before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, what exactly is Jay's HR Consultancy and when it started, and give us a background on it.
No problem. Happy to do that. So Jay's HR Consultancy is an HR consulting business founded by me, yours truly, and we work closely with organizations in Grenada. Right, the whole idea is to help them develop their HR capacity, and by doing that, of course, develop their organizations overall. Right. Now, this started in 2021, November to be exact, 2021, and the whole idea of this starting was me personally realizing that I needed to do more. Right? And I felt limited within the organizations as I worked as an HR manager. Of course, that is where I gained all my experience, and I'm always going to be grateful. But then after a while, I realized I needed to do more. So I looked forward to helping as many organizations as I can. And a limitless approach where, you get to work in varied industries, right? And also, as I worked, I remember feeling a void. I wanted to be part of a community as an HR manager. I felt alone sometimes as we faced the challenges, on a day by day, as I faced the challenges day to day. And also in engaging other persons, I realized that there was a gap. Right? A gap for more to be done in terms of effective HR management and development within various organizations. And so that was my inspiration behind everything. So that started in 2021, and we are continuing. Right? Now, the whole reason of me being here is that part of me wanting to be an influence is the International HR Day. Okay. Right? I didn't even know that was something that was recognized. Oh. I mean, it is still young because this started in 2019 by the European Association of People Management, right? And when I started Jay's and, just in my quest, asking myself, how can I encourage and inspire HR professionals? That was it. That was one of the ways, right? Okay. To help build a community. And so International HR Day surfaced on my feed somehow, and I did some research about it. And last year, we started something.
Wow.
Right? And again, I'm just the initiator because there are other HR persons wanting the community as well.
Okay.
And so we had our first virtual event in recognition of International HR Day. All right, and that was on Zoom. We simply invited HR persons in various organizations to come out. They attended, some of course, accepted the invitation and they attended it. That was last year. It was held on May 23rd last year, right? So that is what happened. We're going to do it this year again.
Okay.
This time it's May 20th. That's next week Tuesday.
Yes. That's right around the corner.
Yes, next week Tuesday. So that is what it's all about. And I just want to share a little bit about what's in store.
Okay, please do, because I have a very pertinent question that I know my viewing and listening audience would say, I wonder if you would ask that question. So go ahead.
All right. So again, as I said, the whole purpose is really to uplift. Right, we know that there is a lot of work to do in HR, so we want to uplift via, by educating, by having discussions, by listening, and so forth. So, it's free attendance. First of all, it's going to be free. Right, it's a gift to the community, free attendance, and we would have a number of topics presented. Right, the first one is leading in a digital world, and this is going to be presented by Carvel Joseph St. Omer. Now, Carvel is from Trinidad, and these are well qualified, versed, widely experienced HR professionals who are going to share with us. In fact, she heads the Caribbean Association for HR Professionals.
Wow.
Right,
okay.
So Carvel, and these are persons again contributing their time, right? So this is an honor. So Carvel Joseph St. Omer, she's going to be doing leading in a digital world. Then we're going to have another presentation, fostering accountability at work. And this is going to be done by Samoya Sandyford. She's also of Trinidad. She is a coach in that field, HR coach. And she's going to be joining us. And we have one of our own. We have a third presentation, building confidence in the use of key HR metrics. This is a key area that we are getting into more and more, becoming more and more comfortable with, right, and understanding the value of as HR professionals. So she's going to be doing that. That is Carla Maguire, right? She's a Grenadian. And we also want to have Mrs. Brzezinski joining us for a brief moment. And the link here is that Mrs. Hazel Brzezinski, she was part of a past HR association. And we want to start discussing an HR association, right? We want to start exploring that or continue exploring that, right, in a bigger way. And we want to link with what has happened before, because she has some information to share with the community. So we want to link with that, and we want to feed off her experience and so forth, right? So that is Mrs. Brzezinski. And we're going to also have a few persons greeting the community, just coming on and saying, keep going on.
So that event is totally virtual?
Totally virtual.
Wow, that's interesting.
Right. It's amazing that you could do this virtual. Totally virtual. Persons could be at work and just tune in and, be part of it. And then we're going to have a group discussion online as well. They're going to be divided into groups and discuss the challenges that they face. So everybody gets to be in it. And share. And then what is nice is that, once persons really attend, you would have persons sharing from their experiences, and that is how we learn, right? So it is not just a certain group, but everybody has something to share. And so I don't want us to underestimate our presence, right? Because we have HR professionals from different backgrounds, industries, and so forth. Then we're going to have some fun moments and giveaways. We have to have...
Can I put down my name now?
But we would welcome you, though.
Okay, all right.
And it might be limited in terms of the giveaways, because it's for HR professional.
Okay,
but
right.
I'm sure you would contribute to the discussion and so forth.
Okay, I hope to. All right.
Yes, so feel free to join us. And so yes, we have some fun moments and giveaways. And in a nutshell, that is it in terms of the key aspects of the event.
All right, so to close off on the event, it's happening next Tuesday. That's the 20th.
Next Tuesday at the 20th.
What time does it start?
It begins at 10, right? So persons are encouraged to register. Right?
How do you do that?
You register by going to our website. It's JSyourHRsupport.com. You can go there, or you can go straight to Facebook or Instagram.
J's,
right?
The
that
letter
is
J.
JS, right?
J's,
right?
Yeah.
No apostrophe in the website link. So just JS, the word your, HR, the letters HR, support.com. So that is one word. That's one word.
Okay.
So at the website, of course, you'll go to events and you can register there. Or you can go to Facebook. Facebook is J''S now, your HR support, and Instagram is HR working for you.
Okay. Right. Now, I want to speak now on behalf of the ordinary person on the street that when they hear the word HR, they think, that is the person that go ask me them funny hard questions when I go to the interview. And when I get the job and something that I did not understand how to do and I did it wrong, this is the person that is going to give me my termination letter. Yeah. What exactly is HR?
Okay, so HR stands for Human Resources, right? We use it loosely because it's sort of accepted now and it's generally known, right? But of course, you don't want to take that for granted. But human resources, and I'm going to say it as what it is meant to be, not what it has been in the past, and not where I'm not going to depict what may be wrong, a wrong impression of HR, right?
So in your saying it that way,
yes,
you're admitting that it has deviated from its real core purpose?
No, not necessarily. I'm saying that it needs to be effective, and this is what effective HR looks like, right?
So yes.
So basically, HR is really about managing people, right? And managing people takes into consideration the processes that they're involved with, so their work. And it's also about developing people. So HR begins from the moment they are advertising for the position. Right? It means your advertisement needs to be well structured to attract the right people. Right? It means advertising in a way that not only sells your company positively, but ensuring that persons who need to be attracted are attracted. Right? So they need to be appealed. There needs to be some sort of appeal so the right persons would come to the interview or at least apply. It means that even in the interview process, persons leave the interview feeling, yes, that was good. That was a great experience. Even though I do not get the job, man, this experience was good because of the level of professionalism, right? HR means after you are employed, you're hired, it means the process that you go through. It means onboarding, right? How you are integrated into the organization, the time you are allowed to adjust, the information that you're given, how you are allowed to socialize and build connection, right? Whether or not you are given a job description that is thorough. All this is HR because you are ensuring that you hire right, and once a person is within the organization, their journey is successful. Right? So it's not just about hiring for the organization and not thinking about the person. So in order to ensure that the journey is successful, there are a number of systems you must have in place. So HR takes care of the person from beginning to the end, even when they exit. The exit needs to be positive, right?
Now, you having said that, I am going to say something I know I'll get a lot of maybe pushback on it, but your explanation there means that we have a lot of people acting in an HR role that does not necessarily have the real prerequisite training for HR, because
that's possible. That's possible, and that exists.
It exists,
yes,
and
it does.
I mean, it's in Grenada. It's rampant.
Yes.
People
and
just assume the role as HR without formal training.
That is why we're doing what we're doing now, because that happens, it exists, there is a gap, and it comes on by the way persons express themselves. They share information, right? And apart from, of course, research that would be done, and not just in Grenada, but worldwide, you know that there are gaps to be addressed. So it's a learning process, and this is the whole idea. I mean, I'm personally passionate about it, but I know there are other persons too, and I think this is going to ignite some sort of discussion or more discussion about it, because we want to see better. We want to see HR managers be more accountable. We want to see organizations understanding that you cannot function without HR. And when I say HR, without proper systems and structures. it's key.
So, someone says, one of my ardent listener and viewer says, HR usually seeks the interests of management, not staffs.
It's for both.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be for both. Because remember, I was wondering, one of the things I mentioned is that even when you leave the organization, because you have to consider that at some point, employees move on, right? But it should be because it's time. They have grown to the fullest potential with that organization, and it's time to move on. And the moving on is positive. In fact, they could come back anytime, right? And the reason is because the organization has invested in them.
Yeah.
While they were with the organization, they were valued, right? The organization, and again, these are systems. It is structured in such a way that you would look at this person's potential, their talent, and guide them accordingly, make sure that they're in the ideal role that would match their skill set and so forth, experience and whatnot. And then when they see potential, they're not kept back. So if there's an opportunity for them to move up, you understand, or add responsibilities. So it's a journey that supports the organization's goals, but also the individual. And that is why when you're hiring, you should try to hire persons who are aligned with the organization in terms of their career goals and what they want to achieve personally. So it's a win-win.
Right. So, in essence, you're literally taking on that challenge of reforming HR in Grenada.
I'm going to lead it as much as possible, but I know other persons are going to come forward. There are other persons already there. I mean, they couldn't be here today, but there are other persons who already support, right?
Okay.
And, just in discussion, there are other persons who may have other initiatives apart from their full-time work where they do what they can as well. There are a number of consultants in the field. And I must say, when I was an HR manager years ago, the community that I'm seeing now, it was not as much in terms of the persons available. I remember we used to see like one person may resign from this organization and they end up in another organization. It's like a cycle. But I'm seeing more persons entering into the field, and it is so exciting to see.
Okay.
And becoming more qualified and versed in the various topics and so forth. Right?
My final question, is there any institution that offers formal training in HR?
Of course.
In Grenada?
In Grenada. Well, I know UE has a program. You can actually do the certificate in HR, but I believe that's online. They may have courses, subject to correction, right? They may have courses in person or face-to-face courses as well. I did my training online with UE, right? But I believe that locally they have that. But I do training as well. These are training in areas that are more specific to daily existence in the workspace, right? Okay. For example, the last one that we had was building and maintaining a healthy working environment. That is very important. Okay. So there are a number of topics like that. I can't tell you. There's so many areas. But in terms of formal training, I'm aware of that. There are other persons who do training from time to time. And then there are a number of certifications that you can get in your own timing, through SHRM, through the HRCI, and there are so many others, just to mention, right? But there are resources available in terms of persons who want to further their studies and advance, right? There are numerous amount of webinars all over the place, right? If persons just link up to LinkedIn. If they have a membership, or I should say a profile on LinkedIn, that's an excellent place to get information on HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as we wrap, again, just reiterate the webinar that you have next Tuesday.
Yes. Well, I call it a virtual event. It's a virtual event. It's going to be on Zoom. So once persons register, they would get the link, right, to attend. But just to remind you, so it's International HR Day. We are having this virtual event in recognition of that. International HR Day is going to be May 20th, which is next Tuesday. We begin at 10 I hope that is what I told you before.
Yes.
Right. We begin at 10 a.m. and we end at 4. There is a number of things that's going to take place. We have guest presenters, and it's going to be good. Stimulating conversations and enlightening presentations. We have Mrs. Bizinski joining us to share on the history of the past HR Association, persons greeting us, from different backgrounds, and then fun moments and giveaways. And God, if I may, just to mention that there are a few persons who came on board and was willing to give us some gifts that we can use as giveaways. I just want to quickly mention them. So these are True Blueberry Resort, Women's Haven, HD Lady Limited, De La Grenada Industries, and Nirvana. Okay. We really appreciate them.
Ms. Jeremiah, I wish you all the best and keep on doing that work, because I can tell you, Grenada needs, HR trickles down to the level of customer service that you get.
Yes.
So that's how critical it is. And as it relates to customer service, that's a different conversation all by itself, because
it is.
It's
But it is linked. It is linked to HR systems and structures and policies and everything, and how you manage performance.
Maybe we could have some further conversations in the not too distant future. Let's stimulate
see
it
what
from
happens,
here.
right? And I just want to encourage the HR professionals to come out, support this event. I think something great is in the making. As I said, I'm just the one as a catalyst to make it happen, but we need the community. We need all those bright minds, all those silent voices to join us.
Thank you. Folks, I've been speaking there with Ms. Jeremiah from Jay's HR Consultancy, and we take a quick break. When we come back, the conversation we were all waiting to have yesterday that didn't happen with Dr. Kellon Bob, that is up next. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Looking to shop online from your favorite stores like Amazon and Shein? With GPC Global, it's never been easier. Get your very own US address and shop from around the world. With GPC Global, you can order the latest trends and must-have items, all delivered straight to Grenada to your closest post office for your pickup. We offer the cheapest rates, and our service is reliable and quick. No more waiting for weeks for your packages. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Join the Grenada Postal family today and start shopping smarter. Visit us online at www.grenadapostal.com or call us on 437-POST. That's 437-7678. GPC Global, your gateway to the world.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Green. I am a sprinter. I will be taking part at traffic lighting Community Games at the Grenada Olympic Stadium, May 17th and 18th. Please be there.
Grenada, the time has come. It's the big showdown in the first ever Classic Lighting and the Communal Credit Union Invitational 2025. Come witness the Royal Grenada Police Force and His Majesty's prison officers take on the nation's busmen and women in an epic 4x1 relay. Then it's Flow versus DG Cell. And don't miss out, Nawasa, who will be flooding Grenlec in the ultimate relay. All this and more, May 17th and 18th. At the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Adults $30, children $15. Season passes are available. It's a showdown like no other. Be there.
GBN presents the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, Saturday, June 7th, Mon Rouge Plainfield from 11 a.m. Our partners, Maggie, the secret of great flavor, Grenada Distillers Limited, makers of Clark's Court, Grenada's #1 rum, Grenada Paper Products, makers of Cherish, Spring Soft, Harbour Bay and Super Value Toilet Paper, and Royal, Quick and Easy and Horizon Paper Towels, Budget Foods Inc., Classic Lighting, and Blue Bubbles PA Rental and Event Supplies. It's the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules.
Got something to share?
Call us at 440-1252.
WhatsApp 405-3052 or 407-8458.
Or email gbnnews@gbn.gd.
GBN News, first, accurate, voted #1.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GBN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GBN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gbn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
Grenada for decades. We are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire and accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada and St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners, to the conversation, an extended version of it. Of course, this morning it's busy times these days. And this morning I am happy to have with me, finally, because he was scheduled to be here yesterday morning. He was in the studio, but we were so pressed that he, willingly said, if you can accommodate me tomorrow. Well, I asked him, I said, can you do it tomorrow? He said, certainly.
Yes.
That's how humble Dr. Kellan Bob is. This morning he's here primarily to speak about the Future Forge Summit that's taking place today at the Grenada Trade Center. Before we get to the summit, I want to know Kellan Bob. Tell me about Kellan Bob. Who is Kellan? Dr. Kellan Bob.
Kellan is also fine. So I have roots primarily in St. David's, Pomrose in St. David's, as well as Four Roads, aka Grenville Street. My dad, my paternal side of my family is from Grenville Street by way of Guave. My grandmother is originally from Guave, and the maternal side of my family is from Pomrose in St. David's by way of the Kingstons. Okay. The original Kingston family in that part of the country. So I come from very, very, very humble beginnings.
So that's where your humility came from?
That is where my humility comes from. And I say to people, I try to remain grounded as much as possible, because the higher you fall, the higher you climb, the harder you fall.
Yeah.
And I try to maintain good relations with a lot of the people who were there with me when I struggled, essentially, quote unquote, struggled in Grenada and so on. So that's my roots. I'm very proud of my background, because I think my background has informed who I have become as a person. Yes.
What has the journey transforming from that humble youth with the roots in Grenville Street and Pomrose to now Dr. Kellon Bob. Carry us through that journey with you. What has it been like?
Well, it was a very involved process. I say to people, many people see the glory, right? But they don't see the story behind the glory. Yes, it took many sleepless nights. It took tremendous sacrifice. It took getting rejection letters from several institutions, academic institutions of higher education in the United States, before finally being accepted into Howard University in the Washington, D.C. area, where I pursued my PhD. So I say to students, not past students, but students at my alma mater at the Presentation College, that life's journeys, your life's journey would also involve failures. And I've experienced my share of failures and setbacks.
Well, let me just interject here.
Yes.
I've learned it that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success.
It is part of success, and you can't talk about success without talking about those stumbling blocks that have come to define who we are as people. That is an essential part of the human experience wherever you are. I say to people, you might see someone with $1 million yacht and a private jet, but you don't know how they came to have those wealthy toys, right? Many people sacrificed for that, whereas others got it on a platter, depending on how wealthy you are, right? And sometimes those people with those means, some of them are not happy, right?
I'm happy you said that.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm very happy you said that.
Yeah.
Because as life progressed, and my ripe age that I am at now,
you're still a young man.
I've learned that happiness is not something that you can buy.
No, you cannot buy happiness. You cannot, and money cannot buy happiness either.
Yeah,
right?
Happiness is something inside.
It's something innate. It's something that's a part of you, and I think that is one of the values that I carry with me from Grenada, and that is a value of satisfaction and contentment with the little that you have. We live in a very materialistic world. We live in a very narcissistic world that's driven by these days likes and shares and always seeking validation. But one of the core values of this Grenadian society, at least when I grew up in Grenada, perhaps it has changed, I don't know, but it was about being satisfied with the little that you have. And quite frankly, growing up in St. David's, growing up on Four Roads, you never felt as if you were in quote-unquote poverty, because you made do with what you had, and you were happy with it.
Good. Why Washington, D.C.?
So
most times you find Grenadians
in Brooklyn. So I lived in Brooklyn as well. I lived in Brooklyn for close to a decade. But I decided to take a break from Brooklyn because, Brooklyn is the rat race, and I love Brooklyn with all due respect. I have family there. I love the energy of New York City, the cultural diversity, the vibrance that it brings. There is a particular energy in New York City that is dissimilar to anywhere else in the United States. And so for any new immigrant going to the United States, New York, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, Staten Island, the entire 5 boroughs of New York City is a good place to start because the infrastructure is there that would enable you to get on your feet without having to depend on others to do so. The public transportation infrastructure is there. The healthcare infrastructure is there. The social service infrastructure is there in New York that does not necessarily exist in other states in the United States. But I believe I outgrew Brooklyn. And so I decided to pursue my PhD, apply to Howard University, where I pursued my PhD in health communication. I specialize in health communication with a focus on climate change, understanding the health implications of climate change, and bringing my lived experience and my professional experience in media to that space. And the Washington, D.C. suburbs has a very thriving Black community that support each other. Howard University is an institution that supports other Black people in a way that's very substantial. You hear this narrative all the time that black people love pulling each other down and black people are crabs in a barrel. That has not been my experience in Washington, D.C. at Howard University. And so that is why I decided to stay in the area following my graduation from the Mecca. Howard University is considered the Mecca. And I currently live in Prince George's County, which is the second wealthiest black county in the United States. You do have a thriving Caribbean middle class there. You have a thriving African American middle class, a thriving African middle class. And what I love about Prince George's County is that you're able to see the diversity of blackness in all of its glory. Black people from all over the world. And I love that space because what you see is black people thriving, black people supporting each other. In fact, the state's attorney for the county of Prince George's, Aisha Braveboy, she's of Grenadian heritage, yeah?
Oh, wow.
And she's the first Caribbean person, a person of Caribbean descent to perform in that role. And of course, the governor of the state of Maryland is also of Caribbean descent, that Governor Westmore. He has Jamaican heritage. So it's always refreshing to be in a space where you see very successful, thriving black people that really inspires you. And that's why I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Your excuse.
Yeah.
All right. Now, having lived in such diverse cultures, in New York, Brooklyn, come back home. Mm-hmm. What are your impressions of home, Grenada, let's say for the past 10 years? You're in the media, so you know what everything we...
Well, Grenada has changed a lot. I think we have gone from that sort of collectivistic, community-oriented ways of being to being more individualistic. I see that evolution where, for example, growing up in Pomrose, if I did something at Pomrose School, of course, teacher Patsy Klein was the principal. Now she was my teacher back then, or the principal, Mr. Wayne Hosford. Before I got home, other members of the community would reprimand me for doing that wrong thing. And I would still get a spanking when I get home.
Yeah.
Right?
You hope mommy doesn't know.
Hopefully mommy doesn't know, but word gets around, so mommy would eventually know, right? But I see that move away into individualism in a way, and I think we sometimes have to guard against that. Yes, individualism, elements of individualism is good because I do think that people should be independent thinkers, but there is something to be said about that collectivistic spirit, that sense of togetherness.
Especially in a small community as ours.
Especially in a small society like ours. I don't understand why people still make enemies with their neighbors over politics, for example, because a politician is not going to come to your aid if you don't have water, or if you don't have ice in your fridge, right? Or if you are in medical distress. The neighbor is that person who will come to your aid and not the politician. And I think we have also gotten to a place where I think, the politics, and I think it's not helped by the fact that we live in this digital age where I think digital communication in many respects have accelerated the divide, where we don't necessarily talk to each other about the issues that matter. Sometimes we argue with each other about it. We hurl personal invectives and insults and things like that without talking to each other about the issues that affect our society. And I think we need to get back to that place where we can have those conversations dispassionately while saying, you know what, I may disagree with you, but I still respect you at the end of the day.
Okay. What is your opinion as it relates to infrastructural and technological development?
I think, especially in the context of the digitization, I think Grenada has made significant progress in that area. Everything is online now. Everyone has a smartphone, right? Privacy is dead in Grenada. If you do something, you might end up on one of those social media pages before you know it, right?
Right.
So the digital infrastructure Grenada is well positioned, I think, with its digital infrastructure to be able to take advantage of those opportunities, where so much so that you don't necessarily need to immigrate to take advantage of the e-commerce and other opportunities that digital infrastructure brings. So I think in that context, Grenada is well positioned for that. I mean, there is a construction boom happening here. You go on any real estate site. Quite frankly, I'm a bit concerned about that because I think working class Grenadians can be priced out of certain markets.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've noticed also is that when you ask a price, they usually quote you in US.
They quote you in US. Before it was, people would be selling their land for $3 EC a square foot. Not anymore. They're selling it in US now. You know what I mean? So I think all of those things are a function of how well we are integrated into the world. And the way in which commerce and our relationship with the capitalistic North I think it has impacted how we view economic activity in the country.
My final question before we get into the symposium tonight. Politics. What is your take on the political climate in Grenada?
Well, I prefer to stay neutral given my role as the host of the Bub Report on these matters. But what I would say in respect of politics is that I really wish we would start talking to each other again as politicians. I think both political parties, quite frankly, they are in their silos, right? And they speak to their own bases through their various digital media platforms. And they respond to their own respond to their opponents also within their digital ecosystems without actually having a meeting of the minds on where they agree and where they disagree. Yeah, I think we need more of that. Sometimes as the host of the Bub Report, and I'm not going to reference the politician, of course, politicians rather, but a politician would say, well, who is going to be the guest on the program? Who is going to be appearing with me? And then I will decide whether or not I will appear on the program if that person is coming or not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. Yeah. Again, I don't like referencing colonial England, but in England there is that program, BBC Question Time, where you see the Prime Minister shows up with the leader of the opposition, or members of the opposition show up with members of the government, and they duke it out. But the point of duking it out is that you have a neutral space where all sides are ventilated. Yeah, and then you allow the public to decide for themselves,
right.
And draw their own conclusions based on what both sides have articulated. And I think we're missing that in Grenada. We were there before, and I hope we get back there.
Do you optimistically think that we'll get back there?
Well, I mean, I try to do it on the Bub Report. I really try to have both sides engage on the issues that matter and the issues that affect Grenada's development.
Well, there's actually going to be a third side now.
Yes, but it's one of those challenging things that I think I do not want us to denigrate or disintegrate rather into the garrison-style politics that we see in Trinidad and Tobago and in Jamaica, where the tribal politics is so intense that if you belong to PNP or JLP, you can't venture into certain neighborhoods.
You can't wear orange in certain
you can't wear orange in certain parts of Jamaica, right? I mean, that is sort of gang-esque behavior. We don't want that here. We don't want Grenada to be disintegrating into that. Fortunately, our elections are peaceful. It's very colorful. People run them out on Facebook. I've gotten my share of it as well on the Bub Report.
Someone just said, but Kellen, you are biased as a whole.
See, so there we go. Yeah, right? So I get that all the time, but that does not affect the work that I do at all. Yes.
All right. So now that I've gotten to know Dr. Kellen Bob.
Yes.
All right. The symposium that you've got on this evening
at 6
at the Trade Center,
correct,
where Dr. Didicus Jules
yes,
will be the guest speaker. Tell us about this. How it came about. What caused it to come on?
Yeah. So the thinking behind the Future Forward Summit is to first and foremost celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Bub Report. The Bub Report started following the untimely death of one of my mentors, the late, great George Grant. Incidentally, I was the last guest on George Grant's very last show before he passed. In 2020 during COVID, in April 2020. George died about less than 48 hours after he appeared on the show, after I appeared on the show with him. And so the Bub Report aired its first episode this week in May of 2020. And so we decided that on the occasion of the 5th anniversary of this program, that we will get out of the Sunday programming and observe 5 years in a big way. And observing 5 years for me means having some manner of public education mandate. So as an associate professor of communication in Montgomery College in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, one of my passion points is public education. And I'm hoping that the Bub Report can also have a public education mandate beyond what we do on Sundays on the program. Yeah, so that was the thinking behind the Future Forward Summit. The thinking behind it was to have a space where Grenadians can come and learn about innovations that would positively affect Grenada's future development trajectory. And so the idea behind it, of course, is to bring together thought leaders, leaders of industry in their various fields. Next year, we intend to have, for example, a cross-generational dialogue of Grenadian experts in various fields of endeavor, especially in sort of the quote-unquote non-traditional careers, but which are, quite frankly, the careers of the future, with young people in Grenada who have an interest in those careers. So that's what we're doing next year. But more fundamentally for us, the Future Forward Summit intends to honor 3 of Grenada's preeminent broadcasters and journalists. That's, of course, Lou Smith. I worked under Lou Smith. In fact, Lou Smith trained me. I understudied Lou here at the Grenada Broadcasting Network when I worked here. I learned a lot from Lou, as well as George Grant, who I mentioned before, and of course Leslie Pear, the late, great Leslie Pear. So this summit and all future summits will be held in their honor. And so that is why I'm doing this. But a big part of what I'm doing as well in the context of this summit later is to bring together all of those subject matter experts who made the Bub Report possible over the last 5 years.
Dr. Didicus Jules will be the featured speaker.
Correct.
There. What do you think he will concentrate on?
So he intends to concentrate on looking at ways in which Grenada and the OECS can weather the current era of economic volatility in which we live. We live in the context of a Trumpian America. With respect to tariffs, with respect to instability in the Middle East, with the continued issues in Russia and Ukraine. And so Dr. Jules will be speaking to a lot of the issues, a lot of ways in which we as a Caribbean civilization can leverage the resources that we have to be able to weather those storms. Because remember, many international organizations, including the IMF has actually revised downwards growth projections for 2025 going into 2026. Standard & Poor's, in fact, they have also articulated the view that we may be going into a recession. So how then do we prepare for that impending recession that might be coming. The last time we saw what happened when a recession affected us in 2008, it was not very pretty. And of course, as Grenada, a lot of our economy is dependent, because we're an open economy, so we're dependent on a lot of economic activity that happens globally in the north, especially.
You're looking at a nice decorative way to put it. We are a consumer and we're import driven.
Correct. And in a recession, what happens? People lose jobs. And so when people lose jobs, there is a ripple effect. Would people buy those JetBlue tickets? Yeah. Would those hotels be filled? Yeah. What about people who have investments in real estate? What about the students at St. George's University? Will they still come? Right? Those are the variables that we have to reflect on and think about. And so Dr. Jules will be articulating how, as a Grenadian and a Caribbean civilization, as an OECS civilization in particular, how we can weather that impending storm.
Okay. So, folks, that symposium starts at 6 at the Grenada Trade Center. Is there a cost for it?
No. Okay. So I'm grateful to our corporate sponsors who came on board with the Bub Report for this. That would be Range Developments, George of Huggins, Grenada Limited, as well as IMA Grenada. So we are very grateful to those partners for coming on board with us for this inaugural event. So it starts at 6 with a reception, and the formal program gets underway, where part of that formal program, in addition to Dr. Jules's address, will be tributes to George Grant, Leslie Pear, and Lou Smith. Correct.
The great Lou Smith.
Yes.
Well, I am happy to have been given the honorable privilege of chatting with you this morning.
Yes, sir.
Someone is trying to reach you. You care to take a call?
Of course. Yes.
Okay, let's entertain this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Mr. Joseph, greetings. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome.
And good morning to your guest there, Mr. Bub.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Citizen Rulo.
My name is Citizen Rollo. Listen, Mr. Bub, straight to the point. A couple of months ago, you won Beyond the Headline, and I threw out a question. You were speaking with the other journalists and so on. I threw out a question, a curiosity that I have based on certain written documentation relative to the constitutional architecture of this here country and so on. And I asked your view on it, and you said it was, quote unquote, not a sufficiently sexy subject to be promulgated to the youth of the country. I would like you to check the recordings, and you will see there. Do you still hold this position, sir? And whereas you are supposed to believe in public education, in other words, through the exercise you are doing today and so on, which is quite commendable, have your views changed on such a matter? The constitutionality of Grenada being still a colony of Great Britain under the imperial of the Queen, order of the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty. I trust that my question has been understood. Thank you very much, sir.
Citizen Rulo, so as a member of the Grenada National Reparations Committee, I am firmly of the view that Grenada needs to carve its own independence. Grenada's independence is very performative, quite frankly, because I do not understand why a country that claims to be independent has as its head of state a white man from England whose legacies of colonialism and slavery are well known. His ancestors owned slave ships. So my position on that is absolutely clear. I do believe that there is a need for constitutional reform. Citizen Ruler, I would agree with you on the question of constitutional reform. Grenada's constitution is extremely archaic, and quite frankly, it was not designed for people of African descent who were oppressed by white people from England. So we do need a constitution reform. Grenada needs to become a republic, and maybe on the question of politics, that's the bias that I have, that Grenada really needs to carve its own true independent path. Symbolically, I'm not too sure why we're bearing true allegiance to His Majesty and his heirs and successors. We have His Majesty's prison. Does His Majesty contribute to the upkeep of the Richmond Hill prison? Or Princess Alice Hospital? Is there a Princess Alice Trust that contributes to Princess Alice Hospital? So I'm extremely passionate and I'm extremely passionate by the view that Grenada needs a country that was colonized, a country whose wealth and resources was stolen for hundreds of years on the back of the free labor of our ancestors, needs to carve its own path. And we do have this sort of Stockholm syndrome where anything British, we seem to think of it as virtuous, whereas anything African, we seem to think of it as negative. So, Citizen Rulo, I hope I was able to answer your question there.
Okay. All right. It's 25 minutes after. This morning is hectic.
Yes.
You see what the program is like?
That's why I don't have a calling segment on the Bob Report.
Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Yes, good morning, Innocent, and to Mr. Bob. What I really thought is, you're talking about the radio broadcasting and journalism, and I heard you were calling certain name. But do you have anything, because we are in GBN now, but we started somewhere. Do you could remember we started with WIBS? That station?
Windward Islands Broadcasting Service, yes.
Right. And even men like they call a gentleman name, and even Mr. Jerry Romaine, I think he may be still around. These are real veteran people in that, people like Hermione Charles, and they die, and a different manager. Because I knew the one of the first manager was Mr. Treetops. And then you had Mr. Smith as a Grenadian as a manager. And then the last man was Mr. Claude Tibbles from St. Vincent. And then they move on, Mr. Alexander, I don't know, he was the caretaker of the radio station. And it was a very nice place and very nice building, And this is the first island in the Caribbean that used to do recording. They had a professional radio recording studio which was soundproof and all these things. So I don't know if you can walk into something to refresh like the young memories of things what happening, because group all from Barbados, Dominica, all these St. Vince, they came to Grenada to do recording the music and things like that. And but there's a lot of people. Even this man, Mr. Bushy Tops, and
Okay.
It's a nice thing you do.
Okay, caller, thank you.
Yeah, I really like that caller actually brought me down some memory lane, and in fact, caller, I would inform you that I'm actually writing a book on broadcasting and journalism history in Grenada, starting with, the Radio Antilles. Of course, although Radio Antilles was in Montserrat, that's where Lou Smith worked for many years. But you had the Windward Islands Broadcasting Service here in Grenada. And in many respects, Grenada was the capital of media.
Yeah.
During that associated statehood period, people came to Grenada, as the caller said, from other islands, and of course, you can't think about Grenadian media without thinking about ways in which Grenadian media recorded Grenadian history and captured Grenadian history, whether it was the tumultuous days of the 70s, the Black Power riots, as it was called, the general strikes, or whether it was, Sky Red and all of that, right? Journalists, and of course, journalists are the first drafts of history, and so for me, it's about ensuring that I pay respect to some of those legends. Of course, there are other brothers, as the caller said. Mr. Jerry Romaine is still around.
Paul Roberts.
Paul Roberts is still around.
Pablo, good morning.
Right?
Yeah.
All of these folks, Josephine Maguire, you had Joe Pitt, who used to do something here at the Late Night Jazz Show.
Yeah, he passed,
right?
He transitioned.
I was actually on GBN as a kid doing that program. Well, it was not called GBN then. It was GBC, or Radio Grenada, the Young Ones program. I started the radio when I was a child. Literally, I was maybe about 9 or 10 years old when I started in radio. So and in media, I guess. But yes. So all of those will be highlighted later. That media history will be coming alive because tributes will be given, and in those tributes, the history of these three legends and of course the history of media will come out in all of that.
Well, Dr. Bob, we've exhausted at time, 30 minutes after 8 o'clock now.
Yes.
And I really want to thank you for, being humble and patient enough.
Yes.
But it was worth it. The wait and the postponement from yesterday to today was worth it. And please don't be a stranger to my program.
I will not be. I usually you keep me company in the mornings when I get ready for work.
Okay, well,
so because I'm an early riser as well.
I feel honored to be, having someone like you in my audience.
Yes.
Don't be a stranger. The world is a global village now, so maybe every now and then we can do a link up. Let's see what's happening in Washington this morning, and it makes a whole lot of sense
because there is a vast Grenadian diaspora in the Washington D.C. Everybody talks about Brooklyn, but there are a lot of Grenadians
in Washington.
In the Washington, we call it the DMV. So the DMV stands for the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia, Northern Virginia in particular.
Okay.
There is a sizable Grenadian community there, and if anyone from the government is listening, from tourism is listening, we are actively asking for a direct JetBlue service from either Baltimore, Washington, or Reagan National Airport, because there are a lot of Grenadians who have to drive up to New York in some cases, a 4-hour drive to get on that JetBlue flight to come down to Grenada. So there will be a demand for that service if it's launched.
Okay. Finally, do you ever get to interact with Representative Jasmine Crockett?
No.
Yeah.
I stay away from politicians. I'm not a fan of politicians.
Okay. Right.
I like to interrogate politicians, but I don't.
Yeah.
Especially now with everything that's happening in the DC area, I try to stay away from them.
Dr. Bob, it's a pleasure. And like I said, let's do some more collabs. Let's see what's happening actively in Washington, D.C. with our black brethren out there.
Yes.
Yeah. I use the word black because you used it.
Yeah.
I normally would say colored, but we have a black community in Washington, D.C.
Yes, we do. Yep.
Folks, that's it for the conversation this morning, an extended one thereof. And I want to thank you for your patience and your, participation, the calls that came in. Thank you very much. And if the good Lord spare your lives, we'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same place, same frequencies and channels. I love you. Bye-bye.